Only three things in life are guaranteed: death, taxes, and SamBam going live Monday morning for a week of Gods Unchained streams. For the last 2.5, maybe closer to 3 years, SamBam has been streaming Gods Unchained about 30 hours a week. The man has been incredibly consistent. He goes live in my time zone anyway at 11 a.m. and he runs about 6.5 hours, usually playing nothing but Gods Unchained, the world's premier on-chain TCG. And people have definitely come to see Sam as a, what's the word, like a pillar of the community. You know, whenever Gods Unchained has a bad day or a bad week or people are dramatic, Sam's stream and his consistent work ethic, showing up, doing the grind, and playing at an extremely high level, being one of the game's most talented, skilled players. It's just been a home base for pretty much everyone who's active in the game, anyone who engages with any Gods Unchained content, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Sam has been the king of Gods Unchained Twitch for a long time. Gods Unchained Twitch. And that's why it was very shocking. I was certainly caught off guard when I heard on Saturday morning a few days ago that Sam had been discussing potentially quitting streaming. I thought it was a joke at first when someone said in my chat, are you taking over now? Sam's quitting. And I was like, what are you talking about? Lol, haha. Like, I don't get the joke. Very funny. And it turned out it wasn't totally a joke. Now, Sam hasn't quit at all. He has definitely not quit. He's actually live on Twitch right now as I'm recording this. But he did have a lot to say, and it seemed pretty serious. We'll cut to some of those clips where I was reacting to his stream when he was talking about that stuff in a minute. But I wanted to first talk about, should Sam quit? Is it a good or a bad idea? Should he keep doing what he's doing? I mean, let's start by saying the obvious. There's more options than quitting or going full steam ahead. And I think it's definitely something that maybe Sam should consider is, what if he cuts back but doesn't completely quit? You know, you don't have to go from 100 straight to 0. He could probably stream 2 days a week, 4 or 5 hours at a time, and still reach a pretty similar audience than he does now. People love him. People are used to watching him. People feel comfortable with his stream. Like, he can cut back and he probably wouldn't lose too much. But if he did have to pick between, maybe it's an all-in or nothing kind of thing because of the work of keeping up with the skill level to constantly be ahead of the meta. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at where Gods Unchained is right now and you look at the whole situation, with absolute respect for Sam and wanting him to have the best life possible, it really might make sense for Sam to quit. It is very unclear what benefit there is to streaming Gods Unchained full time. The community is not even close to big enough for a streamer to make a living, even though people in the Gods Unchained community are disproportionately very generous, and there are some whales in the community who do juice up streamers. I mean, my personal record, this was a long time ago, but one time I remember M7 gifted 70 subs in a day. I believe is the most I've ever had sub gifted from one person in a day, probably in a week. So there's a lot of generosity, but at the end of the day, I mean, Sam is probably making a couple $100 a month for his 30 to 40 hours a week. And that's not even counting off stream time. So like 40 to 50 hours a week probably. Given that Gods Unchained is not really going to the moon, and there isn't really any sign that the game is about to have a big pop of popularity. Like, it doesn't look like Gods Unchained is about to get way bigger. If anything, it looks like the opposite. It looks like as this on-chain gaming bull market happens, frankly, who's the winner of the market? It's Parallel. Parallel TCG wins. The market has decided Parallel assets are fucking crazy, up only, and Gods Unchained players can complain and whine and cry about it all they want, how Parallel's the worst game they've ever played, and it doesn't matter because Parallel still wins. The truth is, anyone who's focused on trying to make money needs to get the hell away from Gods Unchained and start playing Parallel or one of the other on-chain gaming projects that actually has some hype right now. Truth is, Gods Unchained has completely and utterly fumbled away their advantage, and while I still think the card game is very fun, and I still think there's some potential years down the line for Gods Unchained to have a comeback, frankly, this bull market for crypto gaming is not going to be Gods Unchained's moment, not at all. And anyone who's going to spend 30, 40 hours a week playing the game is by definition spending a lot of their best hours on something incredibly unprofitable and frankly just a thankless job, you know? Of course people in the community will appreciate what you do, but at the end of the day, you're kind of just going live, feeding the Twitch monster, and as soon as you do anything other than sit there and just play Gods Unchained game after game, people start leaving immediately. No one wants to watch anything else. Like this whole Gods Unchained like sort of thing, it's like we're all kind of there for the community, but the game hasn't served us properly in many years now. It's been at least 2 or 3 years since the game had like good momentum going. So why would Sam keep streaming 5 days a week? What's the point? What's the point of that, you know? So I really support whatever he does. Personally, I have definitely been very happy to reduce the amount of Gods Unchained in my schedule. It's just suicidal to be trying to go full-time or even half-time on Gods Unchained right now. If you want to make money in on-chain gaming, or if you just want to build your content, build your YouTube, build your Twitch, build your Twitter, all that stuff, Gods Unchained is not the way to do it. And at this point, supporting Gods Unchained is not leading them to do better. They're kind of, as a company, taking advantage of our work and our support. So at this point, it's probably better for Gods Unchained, the company, to be scared. Go play other games and let them get scared. I think the only way Gods Unchained is ever going to get back to like a really solid place is if they get scared enough to get their shit together, because it just seems like they're lazy and like they aren't passionate enough. And I, for one, am tired of it. Sam deserves better. I deserve better. All of us deserve better. With that said, I can't blame him, and I think at the end of the day, if he has to choose between all or nothing, I think quitting streaming is probably the right move. And Sam, brother, I support you, man. Whatever you do, you've done a tremendous service to the community. You've been a great guy the whole time I've been watching you. My 16 months of subbing to the channel, I have no regrets, but maybe it is time to go live your life and do some other stuff. I support you completely with that. With that said, let's jump over to the clips where I actually reacted and see a little bit of my reactions to his stream when he was talking about all this stuff. So here's that. It's interesting. I'm excited. There's something interesting to talk about. Did he talk about it at the end, or when did he talk about it?
Although last night, as I was falling to sleep, I was just kind of thinking, like, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this very much longer. And I'm, like, really convinced, and, like, I'm probably going to do something else. But then I woke up, and now I'm not really thinking that anymore, so I don't know.
Oh, he said, now I'm not really thinking about that
it.
anymore. Oh, okay.
It's just
Can I clip that?
A lot of time and energy that goes into...
I think people are going to want to know about it, so it's helpful just to kind of get it out there clearly. I mean, hopefully I'm not taking it too out of context, because he did say the next morning he wasn't so sure. You can only fit so much into a tweet, though, you know?
Nothing.
At this point, more competition is healthy. More support isn't really helping. Like, supporting Gods Unchained blindly now is like giving your drug-addicted kid more money to go buy drugs. It's like you're supporting them, but you're not helping them. You know what I mean? Oh, next set is going to be a lot of fun, Trav, and I'm looking forward when that set drops. I'll probably do fucking 10 hours a day of Gods Unchained for a week or two straight. Like, it's going to be crazy. But I don't think that's going to change the fundamental issues with the game. That'll be a fun thing, but it doesn't... It's not going to make Gods Token, like, go crazy and all of a sudden everyone's hyped on Gods, you know? Like, Parallel has already won this cycle, and there's plenty of other up-and-coming games. You guys have seen me playing Champions, Goon Wars, and other ones. Like, we're in a whole different place. Like, the Gods Unchained has fumbled away a large amount of their advantage. Like, they don't have that much left before other games start really catching up. Like, they don't have that much left they can lose. You can see what I've experienced a million times here. Sam is much less confrontational, but he's like, he's talking about how he's sad about certain things, and he's like not sure about this and that. And the chat is just typical Twitch chat. Oh no, the prices are going to go down. Oh man, why are you dropping this news on us? Oh man, this is so bad for Gods Unchained. Like, this is, I can feel in his mind the despair as he expresses his feelings, and everyone is just like, oh no, price go down. Oh no, my content. Oh no. Like, this is why I tell streamers you can't, like, your audience, you might have friends in your audience, but your Twitch chat is not your friend. The Twitch chat is this other thing that, like, the streamer and the chat are at war. It's not friendship, it's war. There it is. Now Flux can reach the #1 streamer spot. Darth just said it in the chat there.
Yeah. All right, Darth. I'm never leaving.
Oh no!
No, I can't leave.
No!
No.
Why? No! He's never gonna leave now. I'll never be the most popular.
That's not what I'm saying.
You shouldn't have reminded me.
I'm not selling anything.
You shouldn't have reminded him. I mean,
Sell at these prices. I'm crazy.
no.